All right, we're live, and we got 4 people in the house. Five. Oh, no, that's seconds. I don't know how many people are in the house right now, but anyway, we are live, guys. This is David Sikinemi Comics, along with Comic Book Lord. We got Comic Book Steve, and along with Hazel Dan. And welcome. Uh, CBA, since this is your first time in my channel live, tell us about yourself, what your hobby is. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't prepare for this. I thought you were just going to talk, man.
No.
Let's see. I'm a lifelong comic book hobbyist. Okay, so generally there's five types of comic book enthusiasts, right? There's the reader, the collector, the speculator, the investor, and then there's the vendor, the flipper, if you will. I'm more the reader collector kind of guy, and I've been doing this ever since I was a little kid. Off and on, and it's one of the reasons why I learned how to read. I don't think I was very good at reading or comprehension growing up, but comic books kept me into it. And I tell you, I read those comic books over and over and over till they fell apart. And I wish I knew back then what I knew now, about comic book bags and preserving your collection, because I had a lot of cool stuff when I was a kid. They're all gone now. So let's see, I joined the YouTube comic book community around 2014-ish, something like that. And I had eclectic stuff, indies, Marvel and DC, but I've slowed down on buying stuff now that I'm much older, and I've mainly focused on one character, which probably annoys a lot of people. I just mainly collect Black Widow nowadays. That is my go-to favorite character. I've been gone for a while from the community, but I recently came back. There's been some tags and contests, and so I've been participating in those.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
There's that famous saying, that song, welcome back.
I grew up with Welcome Back. Yeah.
So I was just curious, maybe you just explained this a moment ago, but I didn't hear. What's the CBA? Is that an acronym for something, or?
Yeah, my handle, my YouTube channel is Comic Book Estate.
Okay.
And Estate is, I guess, a person who appreciates the beauty in art or the beauty in literature, something like that. And it's funny when you hear people in YouTube comic book community struggle in pronouncing that word. I mean, it's totally American English, but they see the word estate and they totally mess it up. They go aesthetic, estate. They just can't figure it out. But nowadays, you got Google. You can type in the word and it'll pronounce it for you. But when I was a kid, you just had the dictionary with the weird, symbols on teaching you how to pronounce a word. But everyone's got Google now. They can just figure out how to pronounce a word just using Google. So that's my long-winded explanation of my name.
See, I learned something today. I did not know that word, the meaning of the word. I just found out today.
That's too funny.
Who needs Google when you have a friend that has a weird ass YouTube name?
Okay.
So if we search for you, do we type out the entire thing or CBA just to kind of sub you up?
Comic Book Estate.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do we have a chat thing here? I guess I could type it in, huh? There you go.
Private chat, guy. Private chat. All right. Hey, so Hazel Dan, how you like your present? How you like the gift? I thank you so much.
It's really cool.
I'm a package donkey.
Yeah. So I like.
I knew he'd like just the case
Yeah.
alone. Like,
So just the case.
That's
Yeah, I
pretty
like
cool,
the
right?
pen. Yeah,
yeah,
that's cool.
I like it as like
Dude,
a.
I'm glad you guys liked it. I'm
Yeah, it's
glad.
like a ball. So I feel like when I'm opening it up, I'm looking at him like in the Batcave.
Yeah.
That's like his
Can
bat
you-
suit, you know? Like, yeah.
Dave, can you open that up for a second?
Okay,
their
hold on.
screen?
Let
I
me,
wanna
let me
see.
let me solo you guys up. There we go.
Okay, cool. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that when I send that to you guys, the only reason I send it because I think I mentioned it before, because your wife said that's she loves everything about that tin can, how it is vaulted, how's that detailed. So I'm thinking I have two. As you can see, I have one right in the back.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I don't want to sell it, but who would appreciate it? And as for me, I want to give a gift to someone. I want to make sure that they like the gift instead of just sending them things.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm just glad. I'm just really, really glad to hear that you guys liked it and
Yeah, really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I like all the little bells and whistles. I thought it was really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
good.
We appreciate it. So thank you. Yeah.
I gotta say, I only have two pops. One given to me by AG Surfer, and one given to me by Golden State, King of the Golden State. I'm never gonna buy those things because once you buy one, you want to buy 15. There you go. I rest my case.
And now
one pop
they,
is enough, right?
and now they come out with this comic book cover pops, and I'm just like, I have that book. Do I need the pop? Yes, I need it, so I buy it.
Yeah. Once you get hooked, you can't stop.
I can't.
I think it's all about like
crazy.
the display too.
Yeah. Yeah, that presents the displays with that. Yeah.
So did you guys want to talk about, or David, did you have anything? Or I had something I wanted to see if you guys wanted to talk about.
I just wanted to say, whoever's watching this, that Alex the Comic Holder has started this tag video, show your top 5. Like, when you tag me, Alex, when you tag me on that video, I was thinking, God, top 5 is like what? Top 5 of what? Top 5 of Silver Age, or top 5 of monetary, or top 5 of so I finally did the video. I just need to edit it and so and so. But I know I saw Hazel Dan, I saw you guys video, CB, I saw you did your top 5, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Alex and like
I gotta check out CBA's then.
and I started to realize everybody has their own unique taste of their top 5, and I seen like about 20 videos of top 5, and I don't see like AF-15, I don't see like X-Men #1, and it's just I just love the fact that you guys came up with your guys' own little ways of showing you guys top 5 books, and I think that's pretty awesome. One, you educate them also at the time that you show books that you don't normally would show, and I enjoyed it, and I did my own little twist, and it'll be uploaded tomorrow, and hopefully you guys like it. You were saying, Alex, going?
You said I screwed you up earlier when you were recording.
Yeah, I know. I was almost done with the video, and he texted me, and I was looking, and there was like this good 5-second pause, and I had that stupid look in my face, like, oh God, what? You at the backstage when we go live, like, yeah. So I had to do this whole thing over again. So it was fun. It was fun. Oh, by the way, Hazel Dan, I found like 4 books for you because I know you guys like horror type of books. So You want me to send you the pictures, or you just want me to be surprised?
Surprise.
Surprise.
Yeah, just surprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I send something, I just don't want to give
Yeah.
something. I just want to make sure you guys enjoy it. But
Yeah.
it's all in your guys like your avenue horror type of.
Yeah, we're trying to do the same thing for you.
Okay.
Kind of put
Yeah,
stuff
we
together
got
for
some
you.
stuff. Yeah.
A couple
Okay,
of
good.
pretty girl books and stuff. Yeah.
Trust me, there's no nudity on the cover, so it's good. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Hey, there
I'm
is
just curious, by the way. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
don't mean to interrupt, David, but where is everybody at? I'm in California. I'm in the East Bay, which is north of Silicon Valley and east of San Francisco. So where is everybody else at? I know, David. I think you're in Washington. Are you not?
yeah. I'm in Washington.
Okay.
We're in Texas.
Oh, okay.
Central California.
Oh, okay. Like Sacramento or Stockton or Modesto, somewhere around there.
Yeah, around Bakersfield.
Oh, okay. That's south of me. Okay, gotcha. Cool.
All right, so that's it for the show, guys. Thanks for
Been a good one.
Okay. So I had a topic I want to bring up, and I was kind of talking to David about it before we went live, but I was saying that stuff's really low right now. A lot of different books across the board. Doesn't matter. I mean, with the exception, somewhat Golden Age has kind of been impervious to this effect a little bit. There's always an exception to that, but a lot of books are going down. And I was saying right now is kind of a cool time to maybe pick up a deal or something.
Yeah, it's a bad time to. We found out the hard way. It's a bad time to sell.
Yeah.
We shipped up a bunch of books a couple of months ago, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bought a book, and so we got it was enough to where we had to send some books in to cover the cost for it. So we just sent in some pretty good books. I think 7 of them, and they're pretty. Yeah, they're good books, and they did very poorly.
Some of them did okay.
Some of them did okay
overall.
but yeah, like we hit like the low end of like
A couple of them, yeah.
a couple of them like hit the low end for the year. Yeah, so
I mean, the year's still.
yeah, but I mean, kind
But
of like
still,
within the
yeah.
last year, like
Yeah.
within the last 365 days, we had like the low end of all of that. So it was a little bit surprising, I guess. Like I know the market's kind of going down a little bit, but I wasn't expecting the books that we sent, like the giant. Yeah, we sent like a Giant Prize X-Men #1.
Well, that one's been going down.
It's been going down anyway, but and Avengers #1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw a copy of Avengers. You're talking about the Silver Age book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw a copy of that on Heritage Go for pretty cheap recently, like a 6.5 or something.
Yeah.
That wasn't ours.
That wasn't ours, but
But yeah.
yeah, it's and we were surprised a little bit. We thought they would at least get the middle of the average or something, or but it was, yeah, they didn't do as well as I thought they would, but it's okay though. We did pretty well enough, I guess. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this question: did you guys make money off of it?
Yeah, oh yeah, a lot. Yeah, so we didn't lose. We were far from losing money. For what we paid for those books, we more than doubled our money on all of them or better. But just for what the market's been and kind of what we were needing to get out of it, wanted to get out of it, to recoup some stuff, we were a little bit disappointed, I guess. But no, we're fine financially with it. You can't complain about that. We did well.
Well, as long as you guys are ahead, that's the main thing.
Yeah, it didn't hurt us or anything. No, it just a little bit. Kind of surprised they went for as low as they did. I was expecting a little bit better, but out of a couple of those books, but that's all right though.
I'm sorry to say, but the market has to go down little bit more for me to get that AF-15. I want that to go down. To go down. You know, the Bitcoin should go down to at least about $15,000 to $12,000. You know, let it go down. I'm sorry if whoever watching this, you know, have their stock market all thinged up, but
I think I
I
saw
can't
a
afford
Fargo for like 50,000 on Heritage
Yeah.
yesterday.
Chicago, yeah.
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah. And I think for a while it was around 80 or something like that, or 70
At
for a
one
while.
point, it was like,
Close to 90 or something at one point, and it just that book's kind of going down a little bit too. Yeah, so I could see a 1.0 or something getting back to about that 15,000 range or something at some point possibly.
it might already be there.
Might already, yeah. I don't know if it's already there or
I
not,
haven't
but I could see it. 12 or something, 12, 15.
I was saying that there's a method that I was kind of aware of for a little while, but I just didn't catch one of those breaks. But on Heritage, like if you see there's like a theme within each auction. Sometimes they'll have like, we're gonna do all Silver Age or whatever it happens to be, and then within that set, maybe there's an oddball book that doesn't quite go along with the theme, but it typically sells for significantly less than it would if it was on eBay or something like that.
Right.
Because the buyers aren't looking at that book. They're looking at whatever was advertised for that auction.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a good tactic if you want to pick up a deal.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so we
they
got
sell so
the
many
market
books.
Yeah. They sell a lot of books.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find deals. It's just
Martian Manhunter's in here.
There's Martian. Yeah,
Yeah, what's up, everybody?
Comic Hunter.
Jesus Christ, man! It's been about a year you joined this damn panel. Gee, how you been, man?
MIA, man, MIA. That's about it. What's going on? What's up, everybody?
I love that. Hey, love that Kobe poster in the bag. Is that autographed?
Yeah, digitally, but it's autographed.
Oh, cool.
So what are you guys talking about, man?
We just whatever. We're just shooting the chats right now. We got OG CBA in the house. He's been MIA for years, and you know,
Very long time.
yeah, very long time. So maybe we, you know, there is that comic book community award, the YouTube.
Yeah, what happened to that, man? I'm still waiting for my award.
Doesn't Reggie Collects have like 20 of those now?
I don't know.
What Reggie collects money from scamming people and how to tell them how to do things. Reggie makes his own comic book and scam people from I don't know, man. Just the guy's I'm sorry, but the guy's a fucking joke.
Jeez.
Hazel Dad's like,
Reggie, if you're watching this, you're a joke, man. Jesus.
Hey, so I briefly kind of caught on what you guys were talking about in terms of, I guess, the market, I guess. Good time to buy, good time to sell, like, or bad time to sell.
Bad time to sell.
yeah, buying's
so-
good.
Well, I mean, here's the thing is like, I don't know how you guys all work, but for me specifically, a lot of the hobby per se that I like to do kind of pays for itself, right? So you buy, you sell, you trade up, and all that good stuff. I've kind of found myself in the dilemma of, because the market is so soft, I've kind of stopped like buying, right? Because I'm not selling as much as I used to. So that flow of income that I used to have is just not there. So I'm kind of at a pause because I've invested, right, a certain amount of money on books, grading fees, shipping, you name it. And now there's that dilemma. Well, it may seem like, oh yeah, it's a great time to buy. It depends on how you fund your hobby, I guess. You know what I mean? For me specifically, I've kind of put a pause on all of that. only picking up minor stuff, things that I really want to go after, or just being really streamlined on specific books that quote unquote are my top 10 to go after for the year, and really just limiting myself to maybe 10 or 15 books this year. And if I could acquire that, I think I'm good. You know what I mean? Because I've stopped picking up all the, spec books, hot books, what you name it. Even hunting, there's not that many books out there anymore. Like you used to find like minor keys, right? You're never going to find like major keys, but just minor keys. The days of now the apps that we have available to us, the top 10s and all that, everybody's going after that stuff. You know what I mean? So if you're not out there as soon as one of these lists comes down or one of these alerts, you're kind of behind the 8 ball, right? If you don't have that in your collection already, right? So this constant chase. And I think we've all been there at some point or another, right? I mean, guilty as charged of these spec books coming out or hot books or whatever. We've all been influenced one shape, way, form, or another. And I'm not saying it's bad, but in terms of like, it's good you did. But when on mute. Yeah, so I'm not saying it's bad, right? I mean, we're all going to be influenced. We're all influencers per se in one shape or form, even by our IG posts, right, that we put out there. I mean, you're influencing some way or another, right? Another fellow collector, somebody that really doesn't know what they're doing, blah, 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 right? So for me, it's really about just putting a hard pause on kind of everything what I'm doing until the market kind of lets up a little bit per se, and I could start selling my books to a price that I want to let them go at, right? Because I don't think we've bought these investments to really let them go for cheap or for nothing. And so that's kind of what I caught on to you guys in terms of like, it's a good time to buy. And while that might be the case for some of you, for me, just my personal story, it's not really a good time because, again, I don't have that income like I used to have of flipping books per se. So call me a dirty flipper.
Dirty flipper. Okay.
But I think one of the key things you said is that you're limiting yourself. I, in recent years, just limited myself to just one character, and so it's easier for me to focus. So, like for example, getting back to Alex's point about the market going down, I've been waiting for this 1 in 50 variant to go down. It was just too expensive when it was at its premium price. It was like $50. And recently I got this for less than $10. So the market's definitely softened, whether it's because of the market or people not working or people just not interested in this particular variant anymore. The heat cooled off for whatever reason. I'm just going to wait. I think that's one of those helpful things in the hobby. You just be patient and it'll come down to a price that you're comfortable with.
Right. No, I have to agree with what you're saying, but I also hear what Martian Comic Hunter was saying earlier too. It's kind of budgeting for exactly what you want, especially if you were relying on the sale of other books to kind of fund other purchases. I feel like right now there was a point where I was kind of doing that. There we go. David finally picked it up. Blow it up.
I finally got my copy.
Is patient.
Is that your retirement fund?
Oh, maybe it can be.
No, but what I'm saying is that if the price reaches a certain point, even if you're not in the market necessarily to make the purchase, like you don't, I'm not saying put yourself in the poorhouse, but if there's a book that's abnormally below where it should be, and we're talking about pre-comic book boom prices, like 2016, 2015 prices. If there's a major key that's around that price, I think it's worth kind of going for that. I mean, there's a little bit more risky, but I feel like that's just where I am with deals like that. If something's a third of what it used, third of the price, then I'm going to probably try to jump on that. Even if it's a book I'm not necessarily acquainted with. I mean, if I understand what the price is and it's like 90% discounted, 80%, I'll probably try and pick that up.
Yeah,
Dude,
and we must be.
if any of the key books are discounted to 80 to 90%, it's a no-brainer.
Well, if you're talking about, let's just say there's a book that's like $5,000, and that's the average price for that book, and it drops down to like $1,500. That's still a lot of money for some people. I mean, they're gonna go, "Wow, that's kind of a big sacrifice." But you could flip it. You can grab it and sell it for $3, if that's what it's selling for. I think sometimes it's worth to do that.
No, I hear you. I mean, if there's a $5,000 book average, but it goes down to 15, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to use that credit card to buy that book and see if I can flip for a few $100. I would,
even if it's tight for you.
Yeah, and like I said, I would use my credit card, knowing that I can get average about maybe $200-300 in after sales, this and that. Yeah, I would. But this, I mean, I think we're at a market uncertainty where when is a good time to buy? When will be a good time to sell? Nobody
I
knows.
think that's an individual question, right? I mean, it really depends on what you got into the book, right? And so
Exactly.
everybody's into a certain book for a certain amount at a certain time. You know what I mean? And it all, to me, it all depends, on what you got invested in that book per se. Now, take for example, like the $5,000 book. If you bought it back in the days for $1,000 and you're flipping it for $1,500, you're up $500. You know what I mean? So it makes sense for that individual, right, to be like, hey, I hate to part with this, but I need the money now, and I'm not losing money per se, but I'm not, at that peak of that market. So it's an individual question based on the investment that you've made already. And again, to me, it varies per individual.
Well, the one thing that I'm afraid of is something that Enrique of the Golden State, New York Warriors, Enrique, he always says something to the effect of, "I sold it too early." That's what I would be afraid of. Like he sold it and then it shot up in price.
Yeah, I think that's everybody. That's almost like a cliche, right? Because I think we all want to hit that peak of that market, right? We all want to have that peak sale and break that record sale. It just really, law of averages are that it just really doesn't happen. You know what I mean? It's like, you want that spike, and I think you want to catch it on the climb per se, but not necessarily on the decline, right? And so I think there's a method to that madness per se, and you just have to hit that market depending on the news. You know what I mean? I guess a lot of our hobby is driven off of comic book news, movies, shows, things of that nature, and you just got to be ready on that eBay of just hitting an upload when some of that speculation does come up, because unfortunately that's really the market that we're in. It's very viable and could turn quickly.
Yeah, and you got to be smart about what you're buying. You don't want to invest in the wrong books and overpay for books because they're hot, and then you get stuck with a $100 book that you paid $1,000 for. That's something that you don't want to do. So I think even now that the market's kind of dipping down a little bit, I think it's still a good idea to kind of be careful about what you buy. You still don't want to buy something that's still overpriced garbage that people really don't want. Like, unless you just want like something that you just want, that's good for your collection. That's one thing. But I think if you're buying to sell, I think it's still right now it's still kind of.
Even if you're buying for your collection, there's still like
I still think it's
like you could still have like I don't know.
Yeah,
You can be patient. I think.
I think you should still be patient. I think
For
the
most
market's going to
things,
go down.
like-
Even more. Yeah, I think it's going to go down even more a little bit for a while. I don't think we've seen the low yet.
I think it's starting to stabilize.
It's leveling. It's
think it's
beginning
quite
to level off, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite there yet, but I think it's happening. I think there's still a little bit of room to kind of wait a little bit.
What?
So, yeah.
A book
I don't know if
recently.
you guys have an Echo, Hazel Dan. I don't know if you guys are using two devices.
I don't hear it.
Yeah, let me. Is it bad? All right, yeah,
I
hang
can
on.
hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
sometimes if you use two devices, you could get a bad echo.
Okay.
Okay. That might be it then.
Yeah, I know it's been kind of lagging and stuff like that. So
Yeah, it's better now.
it is okay. All right.
The book that I was looking at recently, that's gone all the way back down to its base price pre comic book boom, is the first She-Hulk, Savage She-Hulk issue #1. That book's all the way back down to the high threes, mid threes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy, right? Because it was about $1,100.
Yeah,
a year
that's
ago?
funny because I've looked at that book for many years, and it was very stagnant at that $350 to $450 price for. I mean, it stayed there for years. I mean, years, and it just didn't move. Like it did not move from that price point. And then all of a sudden, the show went up, and had it been a better show, maybe it would have been some value.
No, wait a minute. I love the
I
show.
enjoyed the
I
show.
actually like it.
My favorite character from the show is what is his name? Madison.
Oh yeah.
That lady was.
I beg to differ.
We're one of the
But
few
that's why we're here. But you're right. I mean, that book was a $1,100 book at its peak, right? And yeah, it's a good time to buy. You know what I mean? If you really like the character, and hey, it was at 500 at one point. So to your point, it has sustained its value from where it used to be.
Mm-hmm. And then another book that I feel like is on the way back is, this is just me, but things that I've observed is the Wolverine limited edition or limited series issue #1. That book's starting to come back.
Yeah. That's because again, all the Wolverine hype, right? We're waiting for another new Wolverine or Hugh Jackman to come back, and so there's that rumble that keeps that book kind of going. And it just depends on the news. You'll see a spike on it on some of the Wolverine books, and then you'll see a decline as well. But yeah, it's all unfortunately a lot of driven off of speculation and news, which is sad, right?
Well, that first battle between Wolverine and Punisher, for some reason, is heating up. I can't explain it. But I have a lot of copies of those because I like the story and art. I didn't buy it to invest in it. I just got them on the cheap.
Yeah, that was a Jim Lee, right? I mean, it's a great book, great character. I mean, for me, it's one of my childhood books. So I've always held that book as regards to like, man, this is what I bought off the rack. You know what I mean? That 2-issue series was just very, very hot at that time, and just something that just brings me back 12, 13-year-old me. You know what I mean? So from that regard, I've always loved that book, right? And then you coupled it with Jim Lee, and just the art alone, you know what I mean, of the 2 issues are phenomenal. I think obviously if you're going to invest in that book, there's newsstands of that book that are pretty relatively cheap and low key. But I think that's really the book to grab.
Is this the one you're talking about, Golden State?
Yeah, that's.
I don't know anything about the Star Wars books.
Is this it?
That's it. And even to be at 100, 125, that's super cheap, man. But here's the problem. There's all this hype on these spec characters, and then once they hit the big screen, boom, they just plummets. All that hype goes away. Look at Spider-Gwen. How much is that variant? 5, 6, 7,000 for a 9.8? Like just crazy numbers, right? and then as soon as she hits the big screen, that $5,000 or $6,000, $7,000 number, it's just gonna completely go away.
Yeah, but the one that I think could blow up again is X-23. That first appearance and that movie with Logan.
Logan.
If they brought her back, I think that could shoot up again.
Yeah, and
That's my speculation there.
Yeah, I think you're right. That Middleton cover, you know what I mean? It's without any noise, really has just steadily climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed. So I think I'm not going to say it's a rare occurrence on that specific book, but it's definitely a book that Dave's just going to get every book we're talking about. That if you're going to invest in. Oh, there you go. See what I mean? Dave, how much did you buy that book for?
What, this one?
Yeah.
I bought the whole set for $100.
How much?
Say that again? You
Wow.
He did that on purpose.
I know.
No, I'm sorry, we got cut off, but I
No,
got
we-
this
you
for
got
500. Yeah, 500.
500 is good.
No, but
I
I
think-
bought the whole set, 1 through 7, raw.
But I think that character, if they do that character justice, I think it has staying power. If they do the character justice.
They got to come up with a good story to make it shine again.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that Logan is still one of my favorites. I mean,
That's a great movie. Oh my God.
That's a crazy movie.
It's right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
yeah. Yeah.
And then that little girl is just bad shit
Oh,
crazy.
she was awesome.
Yeah,
They got to bring her back
they do.
with the right
I-
story.
But she's old. I mean, did she grow up? I mean, that was what, 5? How long ago that movie came out?
I would say
What?
within the last 6 years, something like that.
Yeah, so she got to be in the like in her mid-teens now, isn't it?
I think it's a perfect time for her.
It came out in 2017.
Damn.
6 years ago. So when she got cast, how old was she? Like what, 12, 13?
Probably
Yeah,
around that.
She's young. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's what, 20 years old now, average about 19, 20. The oldest probably we can think is 21. I think if they recast her for being, yeah, I mean, she'll be perfect to come in as part of the X-Force, you know?
Yeah.
So going back to Alex's point, is the first appearance of X-23 as far as price stagnant, or has it been going down?
It's
I
been
haven't
actually
checked.
going up.
Okay. That's speculation there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't looked at the behavior of that book. I haven't looked at the price history recently. Okay, she's 18.
Okay, so
I
she's
think
legal.
I think that Dave, I think there's like a select few moderns that stand out among their contemporaries as far as keys that will maintain value and potentially increase with the next generation of collectors coming in.
True, agree. But I'm just gonna hold on to this until she shows up or there's any like.
I think it's a
casting.
that's a smart book. That's a smart book.
That's
I'm
your
gonna hold
retirement
on to
account.
this until like there's a show or casting.
As far as moderns, what do you
I'm
guys
gonna
think,
hold on to
Hazel
this
Down?
until there's a show or casting. On air
Yeah.
15.
Yeah, I think there's some solid modern books that'll stand the test of time, and they'll be like the new classics down the road and stuff like that for a new generation of comic book collectors and people that like it now. That
Yeah, there's always that generational
Mhm.
book, like
yeah, and
181.
yeah, Miles Morales. I just don't think you can go wrong with Miles. I think this is a very solid investment. Probably X-23
So you think they're going to throw some serious money at a movie for Miles?
at some point for sure.
Yeah.
100%. That's the one. To me, that's like almost for me. That's like the one guarantee that I wouldn't sweat it or worry about it. I would almost bet anything they're going to do something with that at some point for sure. Yeah. I would bank on that.
I think the animated movies are so good.
They're really good. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're really good.
Well, when we talk about speculation, I feel bad for CBA because his favorite character happens to be someone that we probably won't ever see her again.
But she has a replacement now, right?
True.
Called her Blondie.
True. True.
I don't like the second Black Widow as much. But you never know. She's coming out in, what is the movie called? Thunderbolts? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Thunderbolts. You
Do you
never
like
know.
Black Widow?
I don't know. It is.
Was that Veronica or
Yelena,
Yelena Belova.
Yeah.
Elena below? Okay.
Danny.
You what?
It's Danny.
Oh, from the movie.
The
Yeah.
summer,
I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't think it's bad.
I gotta. Sometimes I love it when they have their little.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to think about who y'all are talking about because I don't really follow up on a lot of that. The modern, she's a lot more up to date on.
Well, you've seen her though in like
Yeah, but
the movies.
yeah,
and
I
the
just didn't realize.
shows,
I didn't
like-
realize she was the next Black Widow though.
You didn't watch the Black Widow movie?
You watched it.
Yeah, but I didn't.
You just
I guess I just didn't put two and two together. I don't know. I didn't come away with the feeling that, yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
It wasn't that good. I didn't like it.
It was okay. I thought
It was just okay.
I thought it was okay.
I thought she was good in
I
it.
thought she was good in it. I liked her in
And
it.
we like
Which
that
one?
actress.
I just didn't bank on
The
it. Yeah.
Black Widow. She's also in Hawkeye.
Hey, you know what? Tacoma Comics. He said, "Where can you go wrong? Kamala, America, Sam Alexander, Amadeus Cho. What is that? What?
Lunella?
Nunella? Is that Nunella? Okay, so we got Kate Bishop. Which one
Which one's going to be successful?
will stay down?
Look, I don't want to blow up the internet and break the internet here, but anything attached to wokeness, I'm out of that.
I think Sam Alexander would be a good.
Yeah,
Right.
she's pretty big on Sam Alexander. So yeah. Yeah.
That Sam Alexander hip hop cover was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was black and white, and
Yeah.
I missed out on that one. I wish I grabbed that one. That looked so awesome.
I think we might.
I think we might have it.
Yeah, I think we might have got that. Yeah.
Did anybody see the Moon Girl animated show?
I tried to, and I couldn't stick with it. I changed the channel really fast.
So how's that character doing? I mean, I'm not really a Moon Girl kind of guy, but does anybody been following what her books are doing?
Moon
No, I
Girl,
think
Squirrel,
Moon Boy.
they're all the same to me. I'm not interested.
Hey, there we go, Tacoma. Moon Girl is not something that you want to keep. It's something that you want to sell right now.
I don't know
Sell for a loss.
how well does our group represent the larger population of collectors? I
Hey,
think
hey.
pretty well.
Pretty well.
Yeah, I think we got a great panel here. I think we got a lot of influence here that we can sell now, and maybe about 1% of people might actually think about it.
I don't know. I'm kind of old now. I mean, I've got the protruding love handles and the sagging man breasts. I mean, no amount of push-ups to get rid of those man boobies. But I'm telling you, I don't think I represent the general population. I'm an old man.
Yeah, let's just say gravity's not our friend nowadays.
We-
I think there's more people like that than.
Yeah.
Yes, comic book crackhead. This is the show that we have here is completely different because it's not scripted.
Yeah.
We have no topic. We just go live and just talk, and we'll decide where this go, and we don't know when it will end. But I just like to have the mashup of people who has different opinions of a lot of things and different way of collecting. So we have, so everybody has their own opinion, and people can take whatever they want to. But
Let me just
yeah,
ask everybody something since you brought that up and since I brought up my topic. I mean, I'm probably 8 years from retirement, and because of what happened with the pandemic, everyone started making a will, right? I saw this live stream, this guy named J Hood Comics, and he was talking about the need to have to sell some of his junk so this family wouldn't have to deal with it. And I was wondering if anyone left instructions for their loved ones as to what to do with their collection if something happens to them, if God forbid they dies or if they're incapacitated. Now I have a will, but hypocrite alert, I don't have instructions for my family as to what to do with my first appearance of Punisher or my valuable stuff. So what have you guys done for your will or for your loved ones? Do you have instructions left for them as to what to do with your books if something happens to you? Yes,
I do. Here's the thing. I'm sure majority of the people that are significant other does not collect comic book nor care about the comic book. So what I did was I invested on this two boxes that you can put slabs in, and it holds 10 CGC books or graded books. So what I told her is that there's 20 books in here, 10 per book, and I will put a little price sticker on saying that this is what book average is average. Not gonna put a modern book, but maybe like for UF4, I'll probably put like maybe 1,500. I probably will put like some other book as 1,000, and I'll tell her you can sell this at the minimum of this price. If you go to any comic book store, if you have anybody, or you can use that eBay account to list it and sell it. So there is somewhat way that if something has happened to me, that she will know exactly what to do with the key items. But I told her every other thing you can just take it to the LCS and sell it and just get rid of it.
Is that written in an official legal sense as well, or just it's more kind of a?
No, before I'm assuming by within the 3-year period that majority of my collection will be sold, and there will be that 20 books, or maybe sell those 20 books to get a bigger book and put it in that box and make sure that she has it. And if anything goes wrong, she can always take it to somewhere because they will have the value of people would want to buy it because it's going to be a major key, or it's going to be a grail to someone, or it's going to be a very hard to find like books that some niche market that will be able to sell on a secondary market. So,
do you update the little post-its on it every couple months? Now it's 2000.
I think we'll be point where I think I'll be pretty much in the middle of, even though it goes up to $3,000, I'll just probably put 1,500 just so that she knows.
As long as you have an idea that's not, completely against what the value is truly, because there's people out there that'll try to take advantage if you don't have the knowledge.
Yeah, so that's why it's good for me to. It's good that she would know exactly what ballpark amount that book would cost, and don't get anything below that.
So CBA, that's a very good question, actually, to be honest with you. Couple of things, because I think we're all getting a little older now, and we start thinking about these things, right? Pandemics, life events, things of that nature. And for me specifically, I live in California, and we've been dreaded with a lot of drought and fires. And right behind this window is a huge mountain, and there's nothing behind it. So I live right by the Grapevine on the way to Bakersfield. So there's really nothing in between. And we've been hit with 2 fires. And and I kid you not, just the other day, our insurance company dropped us. And so now we had to outsource our insurance, right?
Well, that
And
sucks.
nobody wants to insure us. Like we've called Allstate, we've called every company that you could imagine, and nobody wants to touch our property because we're in a high red zone
Wow.
area, and having 2 fires and several homes burned down like to the ground in our area. Again, nobody wants to touch this. So the only place that'll insure you is through the state of California. However, it's a federal insurance, and it's a shitload of money. You know what I mean? And so, and why I'm saying this is, one, I'm at risk of a fire, right? Secondly, like, okay, how am I insured with collectibles? How does that handle? Because your normal homeowner's insurance doesn't cover that, right? Nor does your fire insurance cover that. You have to have a specific collectibles insurance to do so.
Yep.
So now I'm at the point of like, all right, so now how do I catalog all this and establish a value should something happen, right? And there's actually CLZ. There's an app that you could catalog everything, and it'll give you a fair market value of all your books. And that's really what I'm going to be doing here in the next couple of months, since, these things have plagued me recently, and they're true life events and things that could happen potentially. And just having that, fear, right, of that insurance loss and the reality of where I live and the situations that have happened in our backyard just recently, kind of forces you to think about insurance and how do I get going on this and whatnot. And did spark up a conversation with my wife of saying, hey, I need to get a collectibles insurance. Secondly, if something should happen to me or any of my collections, do not go to a comic shop and sell this.
No.
You know what I mean?
Don't do that.
And so she's been slowly kind of uploading eBay listings for me. So she's familiar on how to do that, how to get into that, and utilize my account to post. And that's a way so she could be informed. And I just said, hey, just run auctions at 99 cents on all these slabs, and that's all you could do at that point. You know what I mean? So at that point, she's not really aware of what I'm into it, right? And it's just money to go towards anything else that happens. But yeah, those are true life events that you should do, that we should all think about. And while I haven't used that CLZ app just yet, I do know it's a good way to catalog your collection and just keep a tally of what you have, because that's something that you're going to need for insurance purposes if you do decide to get insurance for your collection. And I'm at the point where I need to insure my shit. You know what I mean? Should something happen.
We cataloged all our stuff on a spread. We got like an Excel spreadsheet and put all of our books on there, what we paid for them. So we have a row for like what we paid and what they're worth now. And we update it on a 6-month basis or a yearly basis. We go through it, and we have like all our key books and everything kind of highlighted so they're easier to find and everything like that. And yeah,
We
we'll
do
kind of
have this app too.
we have that app too. It's a really good app. But,
It's hard because it's like, we do collect together,
yeah.
but none of our family really knows.
No, our family doesn't really have any idea what we have. Or, yeah. What we
No,
have
that-
invested in or anything like that. Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the spreadsheets. That's what we do too with the spreadsheets. Updating it every 6 to 12 months just to see what the changes are.
Yeah. And we got everything that we paid for it. So when we buy something, we'll put down what we paid for it and then what it is now, so we can see how well we did on it or if we lost money and all that kind of stuff. Because it's the value of those books and stuff. You want to kind of make sure you're
And that also brings up a good point, in terms of like cataloging everything and keeping accurate records, because next year we're all going to be hit with the eBay, if not this year.
Yeah. I think it's 17%, isn't it now?
Well, I don't know. I haven't done my taxes just yet, so I'll be reporting here in a couple of weeks, and I don't know what they're going to charge me. I didn't get hit with any 1099, or it's not a 1099. I forget what it's called, that eBay will start issuing for anything above $600, and that was supposed to happen this past year. They postponed it for next year. But to Hazel Dan's point, like having that spreadsheet just for tax purposes, I'm sure it's going to be a good little thing, and something that if you've already established that discipline, you're one up on a lot of people. You know what I mean? Not only for tax purposes, but just really for the records of just understanding whether you're winning or losing in the game per se, and know whether a buy is good for you or not, and just keeping that catalog kind of keeps you informed whether you're making a good decision or not. And then what's funny is I used to keep Excel worksheets on just runs that I was working on. So I used to like type in 1 through whatever, and then just, hash marks. I was that old school collector back in the day with the hash marks. So call me old and crazy, I guess.
So let's say we had all our references, all our Excel spreadsheets set up, and let's say eBay does go up in price. What would your next best go-to be? What would you sell your comics on? Would you do it on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube? What would you do?
I would go through auction houses.
It depends on what it is.
Yeah, it depends on what it is
Like
too.
the bigger books.
Yeah, bigger books I would go through auction houses. If it's like books that's worth a few thousand to several thousand, I'd go through like Heritage or Comic Connect or something like that. Because by the time you do that, they might take 10% out of it, and you get the rest of it. And the same thing with like eBay. If eBay's going to do like 17% or whatever they're going to do, and you got to pay taxes on it too and all that stuff. You might as well just sell it like in an auction place. At least you'll get a whole bunch of people looking at it, and a lot more opportunities to sell it. But you never know what's going to happen. It's kind of a crapshoot.
Right.
It might go for nothing, and it might go for something. You might break a record, and either way, you might break a record.
I mean, you can find in those places too and say prices.
Yeah. So I'd probably do that.
But just to backtrack for a second, when we were talking about cataloging, I think it's also important, not necessarily just the graded stuff that's more expensive. I'm talking about like 4 or 5 figure books. I'm talking about things that are maybe $300 to $500 books. Yeah. And some of those books might be, you don't know what, you have to, a tip that I would recommend people use is that when you purchase something like that is $300 or $400 and it's in raw condition, just grade it right there immediately. Because then if something ever does happen to you, your loved ones are going to be able to see the grade, understand what it's worth, and then be able to negotiate appropriately when they go to sell that, rather than someone's like, no, that's like a 2.0. It's not worth that much. There's no argument there because it's already established. Even though it's not professionally graded, they have a point of reference, and it can be tedious to do that, but it saves a lot of time if you've got thousands of books rather than going and doing everything from the beginning. It's crazy.
We did that on our spreadsheet too. So like we're pretty good. Like we're pretty good at grading. I think like we do pretty well on it. So what we do is all of our raw books, we put the grade that we think it's at. So we'll kind of know where that book's at. So we don't have to pull the book out and look at it. So if I think a book's like a 5.0 or a 7.5 or whatever, I'll put the grade on it. And then the ones that are actually CGC or CBCS labeled and graded, we'll highlight those like in blue and put on their graded CGC, CBCS, or whatever, what the value is. And then we'll do the raw values on what our raw books are and what we think they're graded at raw. So we'll kind of estimate it ourselves. And then we'll look at what the raw sales are going for. And, the best that we can. It's kind of hard to do that with everything, but we were pretty meticulous about it and got a really good spreadsheet going.
Something I wish I had started when I first started purchasing larger books on eBay, and some people might laugh at this, but I think it's a smart idea, is that you print out the invoices when you make a purchase. I just like to keep the original invoice with the price that I paid, even though you could create the Excel sheet, but I just like to have the official receipt for that purchase, and then file that away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a monthly statement I think that you could also print out, and it's just as effective. Just everything that you've bought throughout the month, and I think it also has like little icons of the pictures of everything too, so you could kind of see what you purchased and what it is, and it just makes it really easy.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just curious, would anyone here work with PGX?
PGX. I've
I've
had 3 different PGX books. I think that, look, here's the thing about PGX. I know they get a lot of bad rap. If you can physically look at the book in your hand, and you're like, okay, this does look like about what the grade that they assigned, you can crack and resubmit it. But I feel like sometimes they do screw up, because I've seen some people buy a book and they open it up and it's like horrible. It's like way lower than the grade that they assigned. But
that's sad.
Missed restoration.
We got an Avengers 1 years ago, and it had like a missing coupon that, of course, I didn't catch.
So we bought it in a 4.0. Yeah, it was probably about 10 or 11 years ago. We bought it in a 4.0. We got the book in. We're like, well, we're just going to crack it open and send it to CGC. And we cracked the book open and almost threw up when I looked through the book, because like it had like a piece cut out of it. And and I really like it made me sick to my stomach. Great,
That's
fantastic.
good money.
Yeah, and but we were smart enough not to pay regular value for what the book is, because we knew the PGs.
I mean, we paid a PGX discount.
Yeah,
and it was also long enough ago that it really didn't hurt us, but still.
We figured we bought it for like about a grade lower than what it was, because we figured it's probably not really 2 grades lower. Yeah, because we figured it's probably not really a 4.0.
But it came back 3 or 4 grades lower.
Yeah,
with that cutout.
But do you feel like that was the norm, or that was just an anomaly?
I think that's totally the norm.
Yeah,
they're usually a couple of
I've heard
grades
some not real good
off.
stories about that. Yeah, I've heard a lot of bad stories about PGX, and I've heard some good ones. But I mean, just think about it. Like, what if you paid? And at the time, it was like it was like hundreds or what? It wasn't like thousands like it is today, or anything like that. It was like if we paid.
It was like 300 or 400.
300 or 400 for it or something at the time. It was a long time ago. But it still made me sick. I mean, that's a lot of money for a book.
Yeah.
But like, can you imagine paying $10,000 for a key issue, and then you crack it open, and it's actually restored, or it's got a coupon missing, or a page missing, or the gone.
That
like,
just
Marvel value stamp, like
Marvel value stamp. Can you imagine? Like, there's no way in my life I would ever get a book from PGX that costs thousands of dollars. I'd just rather not have the book.
So what do you think? So what do you think about We Love Comics endorsing PGX?
They can do whatever they want to do. That's fine. And there's some people that are okay with it, and I'm okay with whatever. That's to each his own.
And if he's getting it like raw and getting it graded because he wants that,
that's
whatever.
That's fine. But for me, like I
wouldn't buy a PGX book.
I wouldn't buy PGX books, and I would
rather buy it raw than PGX.
Yeah, and if I were flipping books, I wouldn't send it to PGX. That's for sure, because nobody. I think probably 70% of the people that really collect comic books and they kind of know about it, I think most of them are real careful about buying PGX books. Even if you look at the cover, it's like, wow, that really looks like it's an 8.0. Well, you don't know if the interior is missing or something, Right. So, pass.
That's
bad.
That's a little extreme. It's pay half for what it's worth. Yeah.
Talking about PGX making that kind of mistake, weren't there like a drama happening with CGC had a book? It was one of the rare book as well too.
I think is it like a Captain America
No, it's that one that Automatic Comics did that video on.
Oh yeah.
Comics number 3.
That's it.
It came back qualified.
Yeah, I know.
They branded it Universal, but somebody said, "Hey, I know that book." And it's actually, I've seen that book before.
They were like,
And so they sent it in and reported it. It got sent back in, and it came back 2.5 qualified instead of Universal. So they mess up. Everybody messes up. No system's perfect, but I don't think PGX gives a crap. I think they just.
But there was that other one that Heston did that video on.
What?
That Schomburg.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good.
It wasn't a
Starling Comics.
You guys don't know this book. It's a Starling. It's one of those.
Starling Comics.
Yeah, so it was a CGC 9.6.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
White pages.
Keston,
And
Keston's
the guy
comics
paid like,
was talking.
I don't know, 20, 30,
Yeah.
40 grand for it.
Yep.
30, I want to say. And then the cojones for this guy to
Yeah.
Just leave it.
9.6.
Just leave it alone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a
I wouldn't have
9.6,
touched
crack a
it.
9.6, send it into CGC and it come
Hoping you
back.
get a 9.8.
He got a 9.8, but it's a 9.8 qualified, and it was missing
Yeah.
coupon.
And you know that 9.8 qualified when it sold, I still think it sold for low. I think it should have sold for more than what it did. It's still a great book, but
Well, I mean, it just got that kiss of death, you know what
yeah,
I mean?
it did. But whoever bought that qualified for what they paid for it, I think they got a heck of a price on it.
And it's
Right.
still a
For sure.
golden age.
Yeah,
9.8,
it's still a
like
golden age
Sean
9.8.
Woodcover,
Well,
like-
you know, I think for a 9.8 qualified golden age book, I still think that's pretty cool. You know,
Yeah,
but
but
a big difference between a
Yeah.
universal and a qualified. Big difference on that. That's
But
yeah, that's
my question is like, how do you, like, who do you hold accountable for that? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't-
you bought it for 30, and you might have got 8.5 for it or something like that.
yeah. I think that's what it was. I think it sold for like under 9, didn't it?
89,
Yeah.
I think.
This number.
It's not enough volume in the world to help you recover from that. I mean,
Man, there's no. If I got a golden age book and a 9.6, man, there's no way I would send it in and get it regraded.
yeah. Leave
You
it
gotta
be.
admire that though.
That's
Just a
gutsy,
little.
man.
Like,
That's gutsy, man. That's gutsy. But no way, man.
Yeah, no way
No
for
way.
me.
I mean,
Not,
look at
not,
the
not on a book like that.
those in for certain books. you
that's
know?
true. We get
Nah.
9.8 back and they have like a scuff and he's like,
I'm like, you're not
we're
touching
keeping
that
it.
book. I don't
Yeah,
care if it has a scuff in it. I don't care if it has a dog hair in it. I don't care. We're not sending that back in. I want that book in a 9.8. I'm not taking a chance on it. Yeah.
Well, no,
Okay.
didn't CGC recently, in recent history, I should say, they stated that they would no longer guarantee the grade if you were to send a book in to get reslabbed.
Oh, that's
Not
nice.
regraded, just reslabbed. Like you have an old slab and you want a new one.
Yeah.
They said they'll no longer guarantee it will maintain that original grade.
well, I thought
So a
they've
lot-
said that all along. But
Yeah,
they-
I want to say that that's always been their policy.
Yeah.
To be honest with
Okay,
you, like,
so was that just like an announcement to kind of clarify things, or?
I don't know. My understanding that was always the case. If you always were at risk if you were turning in for a signing or just a reholder,
Yeah.
that it would not guarantee that grade.
Okay, so we
Okay.
bought some books. We got some books back from CGC recently that they labeled them wrong, and they're 9.8s.
Oh my God!
I
And
saw your
more
video.
express-
That
yeah,
thing
and-
hurt me. The
Yeah,
TNT
so I don't know what they're gonna do.
I meant to contact them last.
Do y'all know? Have y'all done that? Like in those situations,
They
do they
should
give
keep
you
the
the same
grades.
grade, or do y'all know for sure? Or does anybody
Someone that happened to was what's his name? Mint Hunter
Well-
Comics. Mint
Yeah.
Hunter
Well, if you're looking
Comics.
for those 10 O's, I don't know, man. I'd be complaining.
Yeah, it's a 9. It's a 9.8, but yeah,
He
We had
did it.
299.
yeah, we had 2 9.9s,
Oh,
The first time
299.
ever getting 9.9.
and then mislabeled the stupid thing. Yeah.
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we've never gotten a book back in a 9.9. The first time we do, it's mislabeled. So now I'm kind of thinking, man, I just kind of want to keep it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to send it back in and get a 9.8.
because you
Yeah.
send it
You
and there's that risk
you
of
could,
getting a
you
92.
could sell it custom label.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got wait. Time out. So you guys got a 9.9 on it. Doesn't mean that don't you just have to just change the label? They gotta regrade the whole
They
thing.
got to open it. They got to crack it open and re-slab it again.
It should be covered under the mechanical error.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
they should give us the same
So they
grade.
should give us the same grade.
they should give you the same grade and just change the label.
Yeah.
I don't see no reason why they gotta open the inner wells to take the book out of the inner wells.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
the
I don't
nightmare.
know.
They crack it open and they accidentally jab it. And go, oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's.
I
I
mean,
think that's what was.
7.5 qualified.
Or they just drop it. You know what I mean? They're like, oh well.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the gamble we do when we send our books to CGC because it's nothing's transparent. We're just
Yeah.
hoping for the best. I mean, we know our books better, but once it's sent to them, is we just gotta pray to comic book God that it comes back in one piece, and kind of hoping for the grade that we thought that it would be.
Okay, let me ask you this. Any one of you, if you want to answer this. If you had, this is just a hypothetical. Say you had, hypothetically, you had like a $200,000 book. How would you handle that process of handing it over to them to get graded? You would not feel comfortable just sending it in the mail, right?
Did
You
you
would
say
need to like,
200,000?
how would that be handled?
One,
Insurance, make sure it's insured.
yeah, if I had a $200,000 comic book, one, I think actually would fly to Florida and hand them to,
Physically.
videotape it, somehow get it on recording with that book and have
'Cause
somebody
I'm-
so and so.
I'm seriously curious how
I've
people
never
do
had
this
it.
stuff. The people who have like a raw $200,000 book, how are they comfortable with handing it over without physically watching the process?
Yeah, you have to get it insured.
I mean, sometimes
have-
they have
you know.
on-site grading, but
Yeah, or maybe wait till a convention, take it to the CGC when
But
they're
do you
there.
get to? But do they allow people to watch? Can I watch you do this thing? Because this thing is the value of the house here.
No, I don't think so. I think like once you drop it off, it's in their hands, and whatever they do with it's up to them. Yeah, I don't think you can.
but certain of like the big conventions have on-site grading.
Yeah, some of the bigger, they will. They'll have on-site grading, and yeah. So,
But do they
kinda
allow
look at it.
people to watch? Like you can watch the grader and see what
I
he's
don't-
doing there, or
I don't
No.
think so. No, I doubt it.
that's crazy. For a
Yeah.
book that expensive, I was just always curious about that.
But
Well,
you got to think,
what's funny is
CGC
if
books
you
is like
want,
$1
like,
million
grading,
book.
what they do is they grab a regular short box, flip it on its side, and then just stacks of book, just go, and then on its way. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you
And
cringe
that's
at some of this stuff. You're just like, damn, you know what I mean? But
That's crazy.
it is what it is.
Yeah, and they deal with $1 million books and stuff like they deal with several $100,000 books and stuff like that quite frequently. I think.
Yeah,
but
you best believe that somebody at CGC, one of their experts, are like personally handling this stuff. You know, what I mean? It's not going to be any Joe Blow out there that's firstly on the job kind of deal. So
the same guy that labeled our 99 incorrectly is going to be handling a $300,000 book too.
Okay. Well, can you imagine if it was transparent? Let's say they were filming the whole process. You could choose the grader that grades your book. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Slip him a 50. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's having a $200,000 book to sending it to CGC. I said no. I'll keep it raw. I'll have.
Yeah.
There are some people that are freaked out that won't do it because they don't know what's going to happen.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard stories about these old school collectors back in the day from like the Mile High collection and like that Allentown collection and some of that I've heard something in an article somewhere about how there's I think it's a Detective 27 out there somewhere that Vincent Zuzzolo from Metropolis and a bunch of other high-end dealers like that have looked at that book, and they swear that it's a 9.6 and it's ungraded. The guy keeps it in a vault. Nobody looks at it. He never takes it out. It's undisclosed as to who it is. It's all kind of, it's all that under the table kind of stuff. And I would imagine that there's a lot of these books out there that are these really high grade, golden age books that people have that are worth several $1 million, and they're just not slabbed or anything like that. No real record of it, stuff like that. So I think a lot of people don't
look at the
understand
Promise
books that
collection,
get
right?
graded.
If you just take the Promise collection, I mean, a lot of this stuff was stored in an attic for years.
Yeah.
And you're talking 9.4, 9.6s,
Yes.
multiple copies.
Yeah.
All golden age.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
It is.
So
And a lot of those guys don't get them graded either. They have them all raw in a vault somewhere,
So CGC will never make a special exception for a book that's like that valuable.
I don't think so. You
That's
could ask them, I
insane.
guess. Yeah, you could ask them, I guess, and see if they. Yeah.
Well, I want to see like in the Promise collection, like somebody from CGC actually went to the person's home, and then they started having discussions around what the values of those books were, the significance of the book.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if there's collections out there or books that are worth 200,000, you know, they want that grade, right? They want that label on that book. You know what I mean? It's business to them.
Right.
It's one of a kind type book, so you best believe in most cases they'll probably fly to you.
Yeah.
True.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't actually think about that. Yeah. I don't know if they would do it for one book though.
I mean, yeah, it depends on the value of the book, right? If you're talking,
Yeah.
yeah, they might.
Right. Yeah, they might. Yeah. Yeah. If you tell me you got an action number 1, you think it's like a high 9s, they might.
Yeah.
Go out
I
there
mean,
pretty quick.
no, they want to see the damn thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a business expense on their end, anyways. They're flying
Right.
around the country for conventions, anywho. You know what I mean? So it, you know, again, they're not going to do it for everybody, right?
No.
All right, that's a weird silent pause.
Hey, Dave. So
Everyone's
Oh, yeah.
So
Maybe we're
last-
all imagining.
the
Yeah,
last-
we're all thinking about having a $200,000 book.
yeah. I think
Now
we're
I'm
all
like
thinking of
criticizing. Well,
one.
So we're equally thinking about having a $200,000 book and also paranoid about how we'd
Yeah.
get that graded.
okay, so here's a question. If you could have a book that's worth $200,000, what book would it be? What would y'all want?
Detective
Action.
27.
Detective 27?
What was the question? Okay, what was the
Yeah,
question?
if you could have if you could have a $200,000 book, like what book would you want?
It gotta be 200,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
200,000.
The book
Yeah.
is worth 200,000. What would it be?
What would you want it to be?
Oh, that's a damn good question.
What would you pick?
Yeah, but Alex and I responded quickly. Why are you taking so long?
I don't know. Well, I'm trying to think, like, so if you get an action number 1 and it's worth 200,000, it's probably like a 0.5 or something, right?
Yeah.
But it's still,
So that-
but it's still an action number 1, is the thing.
Yeah.
Well, it could be a restored 3.0 or so, or no, maybe.
yeah.
Is that about right?
Yeah, that's so crazy. Yeah. Gosh, I don't know.
You asked the question.
Yeah, no, I know. I just don't have the answer. I was asking them, not myself.
If that's the case, then I probably would go with Amazing Fantasy. Probably in a mid high grade.
What would that be? What grade would that? I'm curious now.
200,000. Probably
Like
in a
an
7.5.
Or something, maybe.
It might be higher.
Maybe,
Higher, yeah.
maybe an 8, between an 8 and a 9, maybe. I don't know. 8.0, 9.0.
You know, I'll take that. I will
Yeah.
take that.
That would be beautiful. Yeah, that'd be beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you take an Amazing Fantasy 7.0 with some of my crayon markings on it?
Right now, we'll take Amazing Fantasy, half rip, missing
There was
back.
an ACT
Yeah.
at an LCS,
Yeah.
and it has like cat eyes
Yeah.
and fangs. No,
No, that was a
it
different one.
was a different one.
It said burp. So somebody drew like a balloon bubble on his face, and it said burp on it. And so we saw one like that. And we saw another one on eBay several years ago that they drew like spider fangs on him. He had like these cat eyes and spider fangs. And the guy's name was Butch, and he signed his name all over the book, Butch.
Oh,
And
man.
Ouch.
yeah, it was painful to look. It's
Yeah.
pretty painful to look at, you know,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. the Butch collection. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be a 7.5.
Yeah.
What I'm looking at.
Yeah.
On GPA. The last sale for a 7.5, but it was in August of last year. Was
That
100,
Being higher.
I think it'd be higher now. Yeah, I think it'd be closer to like an 8.0 or 8.5 or something like that, maybe. For it.
198,000. Yeah.
What's a Cap 1 cost nowadays?
Captain America Comics.
Yeah,
Let's
number
see.
1, the Golden Age, the one that where
Yeah.
he's punching Hitler in the face.
I feel like a
It's pretty expensive still.
typical
In what
wristband.
grade, though?
A
Yeah.
$200,000 grade.
Let me see.
Hmm.
Let me see.
I would pick All American 16.
All American 16.
A 5.0. A 5.0 went for 180K in September of last year.
Well, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
What's a tech? What is it? The one that Neil Adams homaged? What is it?
Oh yeah.
31?
Yeah,
31?
31. Yeah, that's a great book.
What is it?
Tech 31.
Yeah, 31. It's the one that has the guy with the red hood on. He's going down the mountainside. It's been
Joker?
to that. Do what?
That's Joker, right? He's revealed to be Joker or something.
No. I know what you're talking about. No, this is like Detective Comics 31. It's the one that has the moonlight and the castle, and the guy's carrying the girl down the hill. And Neil Adams did a really great Detective Comics homage to it.
Okay,
it's really
so this
popular too.
A grade higher than a 6.0 hasn't sold.
Yeah,
at least not on GPA. But a 6.0 in 2017 was 175K. That was years ago, though.
It's expensive.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I'd take an All American 16 for 200,000. That's what I'd want.
Hey, Alex,
Gee,
how about the first appearance of Mary Marvel? First appearance of Mary Marvel.
I know what you're talking about. That's what book is that?
It's not Marvel Family, is it?
Marvel? No, it's a different book.
It's one of those
I think
old
is it
titles.
Captain America Adventures or is it?
Not
No,
Wiz
no.
Comics, but All
It is
American.
Wiz Comics, I
Oh, is
think.
it
No,
Wiz?
is it?
Yeah.
No, it's
Am I
something
wrong?
like All American or something like that. I don't know.
I thought it was a Marvel family.
You know, I almost bought that book.
Oh, yeah?
I almost bought a copy of that book recently.
Really?
Which one?
First appearance of Mary Marvel. Captain Marvel Adventures number 18.
Okay, I was looking it up now, but yeah.
Marvel
It's a great looking cover.
I
That's a cool
almost
cover.
got a copy of that damn thing.
Yeah, that's
It went
cool.
for 10 grand on Heritage recently.
What grade was it?
It was actually a nice grade. Let me see if it's on here. Oh, here it is. Promise Collection. It went for 10 grand in December.
Oh, that's nice. Promise Collection too.
What grade?
Yeah,
A 7.5.
Wow.
that's nice.
Really?
Yeah, I was looking at that and I was like, that's interesting.
There's a 9.8 out there somewhere.
Crazy.
Can you
Well,
imagine?
crack that sucker up and see if you can get a 9.9 out of it.
Yeah, right.
That's what I do with my golden age. 9.8. Yeah.
But I really wouldn't mind a restored, Golden Age Grail like that, like an Action 1 or Detective 27.
Oh yeah, that'd be fantastic.
I think that's where like a purple label is like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? On Golden Age books.
I think at a minimum for that book, restored, qualified, whatever you get, I think a minimum for that book's going to be around $200,000 at an absolute minimum, maybe.
Which one?
Yeah, then you got to add in the cost for the insurance premium and the vault that you hide it in.
Yeah. Oh, did y'all see that Action number 1 that sold?
It was a no grade
It was a no grade.
on Comic Connect.
No.
Yeah, it sold within the last couple of weeks, and
I think it sold like Friday, maybe.
yeah, the interior is all original. The cover is a reproduction cover and back, but the car is the original. Somehow they got it printed up, did everything to where it's like the car on the comic book cover is the real car from the real cover.
And Superman.
And Superman is. So the Superman and the car are original, and the rest of the covers.
Facsimile.
Okay.
So you're seeing a piece of the cover is original?
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it, but it's a piece of the cover that's original, and the rest of it's a facsimile. Same thing with the back, and the interior is original. And I can't remember how much it was. So it was a not NG. Was it like 100,000 or something? Or do you know what it sold for?
No.
Yeah, it sold for, and that's probably most normal people. The only chance any of us or get up and have a chance doing that, but then you have to put your house up for sale.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm trying to see what it. She's looking it up, but yeah, it's yeah, I think that's kind of cool. That's the only thing I've ever seen that's halfway reasonable for that book in a very long time.
Yeah, but to restore that damaged cover, that's some creative Etsy work there, you know.
Very much so. Yeah, and very different.
You see them.
I do.
Did you see what Alex, the comic recorder, posted more recently? Probably about 2 or 3 videos back. He restored like an old Marvel book. It was probably like a 1, and it was literally in pieces. Like it wasn't even like a complete cover, but I guess he sent it to someone who leaved it and made it like it restored it to a complete page again. It just looks awesome like that, even though it's not.
Yeah.
This Jerry the Jitterbug does a lot of the leaf casting.
Leaf casting and stuff like that.
Leaf casting, yeah.
I like watching his videos. They're just relaxing.
Oh, is that the guy that's
the patience on
dishwashing
that
soap
stuff.
or something? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh,
Hey Dave, so you showed that UF4,
No.
and I think you talked about acquiring one last time, and then you didn't pull the trigger, right? So talk to us about that acquisition.
What is it?
Not that I had to get it before it start going back up again. I mean, I sold my 9.6, and I had the funds, and I was thinking I don't want to reinvest that amount back to 9. You know, so I figured what would be the best thing to do is to get a 9.8 on that. I mean, for $1,700, not bad.
It's come down. It was 3, so I think that was pretty good.
I think it was 3 before. Yeah, that's a great price for that.
Yeah, I mean, if it goes down, I'll probably will pick up another one because since I have the fund for it, since I sold the 9.6 on the other one, so
yeah. And I wouldn't worry about it going down either. It'll just go back up at some point. And like I said, I think that I think it's a safe book. Even if you overpay for it by a little bit and it goes down, you'll be okay on that book in the long run. It's a long-term book for sure. I think
What's strange about the book is like, you know, the print run, right? What's the freaking print run on a UF4, right? 100,000, 200,000? I don't even know.
Yeah, this is it right here.
But honestly,
okay, that's the copy.
Sold for $126,000.
So original car?
Yeah, car's original, Superman's original. The rest is a facsimile. Yeah,
That's interesting. That's cool.
amazing.
yeah, 126,000.
Dang.
Yeah, that's the closest. Yeah, that's the closest most people will get to that book, and for a lot of people, and it's NG. So imagine like a 0.5 or 1.0 complete. Like, yeah, crazy.
So cool though.
It's very cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
Who said never judge a book by its cover?
Right. Yeah.
Not in our world. Nuts. That is nuts. So back to you, Dave. What were we saying about the book?
I think to me that variant, 125 variant, is very, how would I say it, overpriced.
Yeah, I would agree.
Somebody paying $40,000 on a 9.8. To me, that book should be probably right now. This is my honest opinion. That book should be no more than maybe $10,000 or $15,000 at most on a 9.8.
Yeah.
There are so many other books you could get for 40,000. My mind goes directly to the Golden Age. When you say 40,000, there are a lot of books you can get that are really awesome.
I mean, there's a lot of books that a lot of people can get with their money, but but the thing is, even for that even for that Spider-Gwen, Edge of Spider-Verse, that Greg Land that is selling for like $6,000 to $7,000, that book should not be more than $3,000 or $4,000. And this is my honest opinion.
Yeah.
Regardless, this is how I thought of it. This is the reason why I thought letting it go now, it won't hurt me in the long run.
Right.
Because I just had to convince myself that this book is not worth 40,000 on a 9.8. is not a rare book. A lot of people are just holding on to it. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that Miles Morales, that Fiona Staple 1 out of 50 variant. I mean, that book was not a rare book. I had 20 copies at one point. You
That's a lot
know,
of coffee.
yeah. I mean, because I love that cover. I mean, that was the only reason I liked that, and I gave it to people. I mean, I gave it as an AAK.
Yeah,
You
so
know?
I'm looking at some sales data on the UF4 the Turbic. So pre-pandemic, a 9.8 back in 2019, late 19. For the whole year of 19, there was 3 sales: 2,700, 2,500, and 2,300. That's in 9.8. And then the next sale went from 27 to 8,500. And then the following sale was 20.
Yeah.
And then the 40s began. And it just kind of stayed up from there. So you take this volatile climb from a $2,500 book to now 43,000 in 2
That's
years.
nuts.
That's dramatic.
It just doesn't justify having that book, you know.
I think a part of what influenced the price of these books that you're describing, that just have these like astronomical increases.
Right.
I think people are in the mind, at least the newer generation, is in the mind frame of like Bitcoin money. You're just like, oh, 10x, 100x. It's like it can't be sustained. It can't be. There's nothing that's going to sustain that type of increase.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in and out of it, like, great, right? I'm sure Dave, he made good money off of it. You know what I mean? Based on what he bought.
Yeah,
but if you bought these books, and CBA, you remember the days on this particular book, man. We were chasing this in Five Below packs, if you remember that. And then we were all chasing it back in those days because somebody heard about it, and then the chase was on and hit Five Belows for that 1 in 25 because it didn't sell. You know what I mean? Or there was stacks of them because of the print run was so high. I don't even know what the print run on UF4 is, but I'm sure it's in 100,000 or something like that because it's a.
I think we're probably looking at about 250,000 print run. I mean, you got to think about. But the first print, even the first print with the Miles Morales, I mean, with his free showing, that is almost considered as a free. I mean, as a like a first print. But here's my thing. This book came in a poly bag.
Yeah.
Okay. I had also that book. I had about 15 copies of that book, all in poly bag. And when I took it out of the poly bag, it had the indentation that it was really hard to press out.
Yeah.
I think I had five of the near mint copy that I could think of. I sent out to CGC. All of them came back as a 9.4 and a 9.6. I mean, I had this guy Freddie's press that book like 4 or 5 times out and still got a 9.6. So to me, getting this in a 9.8, it I think it worth the value for me, but paying 40 grand on a Jerkovic is just, like I said, that should be a $10,000 to $15,000 book at most.
So, David, knowing your wife, what would she say to you if you bought? What would she say to you if you spent $40,000 on one book?
She would probably divorce me.
My wife would say, "Congratulations."
But here's the difference, Dan. I mean, Hazel, Dan. I mean, you guys are into the hobbies. You guys talk among each other. What
she might? Well, she might ask, what book did you get?
That. She would love me more if I got a $40,000 Hermes Birkin bag.
Yeah.
But if I spend $40,000 on a comic book, something that she's very alienated. I mean, she doesn't know. I mean, she's just ambiguous about that. I mean, yeah, she probably would think that I'm crazy and probably will not hear it until I sell that book and get my $40,000 back.
Or double it, depending on what the book is.
Yeah, I mean,
she'd probably love you. You know, she'd probably be really happy then. But
depending. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like for us, the problem with us collecting together is that sometimes there's no checks and balances, so we overspend and nobody says no. So so we get on these kicks about it, and we both have like these addictive personalities, so we'll get on like these runs and these kicks, and it's like yeah, and then later on it's like, yeah, we probably need to stop for a little bit.
We don't overspend on like the big stuff.
No, but
it's like a lot of like the other like
still a lot of money. Yeah, it's just not big.
The in-between stuff.
The in-between stuff, yeah. So we don't have that, hey, pull back the reins kind of thing going on. A lot of times we're just kind of, both of us are just kind of full out on it. That's kind of a negative thing sometimes. Yeah.
Well, I've always stuck to the 1% rule for my budget. I don't spend more than 1% of my salary on books. But if I do, I'll like cut out everything else: Starbucks, coffee, gas, haircuts.
Been there, yeah, we've been there.
Well, if you have $1 million salary, 1% isn't bad.
I still wouldn't buy. I still wouldn't spend $40,000 on one book though. Even if it was the first appearance of Black Widow, I would not. I'd spend it on something else. I'd find something else to buy it with. Spend it on.
But don't you think that like there's some books that's actually a better investment than buying something else?
Yeah, I don't know what that would be.
Like you buy a car, and the second you pay $40,000 for a car, the second you drop it out, it's worth 25% less than what you paid for it.
Right.
You know, the housing market's kind of weird. Your house might stay worked out, it might go up, and everything, you know, kind of fluctuates within the marketing. But one of the things, like if you're really good at what you're doing, you flip books and you know all that kind of stuff, so you're probably pretty good at it. So like, there's some books that are, I think, better investments than stocks and most things. Some of them. I think
I'll agree with that.
You know, you just got to be careful about what you're doing. I think make sure you can be happy with that book if it doesn't go anywhere. You know, make sure you're okay just having it in your collection or whatever. But I don't know.
So what would be that one book you'd spend $40,000 on? Let's hear it. Let's go around.
I tried. I'm going to tell you, I already tried.
Yeah.
I put a $40,000 bid on a Batman 1 on Heritage. It didn't work though. It didn't work. It went to like 70,000 before the buyer's premium, and then after I think it was like 90,000 or something.
Was it restored?
Yeah, it was a restored 6.0 or 7.0. I forgot.
Yeah,
and I tried.
Restored.
Yeah,
it was, but the restoration was very light color touch, and it was professional. It was professional grade. It was they used archival quality materials for everything, and it was the highest form of restoration you could put on a book, and it was very minimal. And I was like, okay, maybe I could throw my bid in here. You know, that was the only book I tried that with.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It would have to be Golden Age. Something that I really love. And I probably wouldn't do it to flip the book. I would do it because I love the book and I want to keep it and it's mine.
Mm-hmm.
But there's probably a few out there that I would do that for, but they're all like Golden Age books and stuff like that for me.
Yeah, I'd do a Punch 12.
That's a cool book. Yeah, that's a cool book. Yeah. And it's about that too. Like that book is expensive.
With the skull, right? That's the skull cover. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that book's lately been going between 20 and 40,000 for that book. I think it's been going for quite a bit lately. There's not a lot of sales, but what we've seen, it's been about 20 to 40 for that book whenever it does sell.
Yeah, it's another one of those niche markets, and it's crazy because Golden Age was kind of, I wouldn't say dead, but not really
Stagnant.
movement, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and now there's this boom of Golden Age pulps.
It's always been really expensive, but they didn't have like the boom, like you said, there was just kind of steady, but it was still pretty expensive. But now, man, it's just
I remember going to shows and nobody even wanted to look at the Golden Age stuff. They'd sit in boxes. I mean, the old guys would just be sitting there, with their Golden Age book bored. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking like 8, 9, 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And they just be bored as hell. You know what I mean? And everybody wanted the moderns. Everybody wanted, silver. And
I mean, to know what you know now, I'd love to go back and just spend money on just any one of those Golden Age books. Like, would be just to know what you know now. Like.
I mean,
same as pulps, man. Pulps have some great covers, man.
Yeah,
it's very underrated. But again, it's a niche market too, or niche market, right? So you got to be careful with niche markets. But there might be an influx once I think CGC is now starting to grade or gonna start grading pulps.
Yeah, and the thing about those niche markets is like you have the people that like that stuff and they'll pay premium prices for it, but you can also get good deals on them too because maybe a lot of people aren't bidding on it and so forth, and so
people are starting to bid a lot and pay attention.
I think so. I think they're starting.
It's those one or two buyers that want that book,
right?
I mean? Are the ones that you got to be careful.
Yeah. Yeah, the Archie fan, we like Archie stuff, and that's kind of niche. It's not it's fairly mainstream, but it's but we just love it. It makes us happy. We collect a lot of those keys and the Archie stuff. So and that's kind of an interesting fan base on those. Like they when the stuff comes up for sale, it doesn't come up for sale a lot for a lot of the keys. When they do, people will. It's hard to get some of those because people just it's like I can't. I'm not.
Especially like the high grade stuff.
The high grade stuff, they'll pay a lot for that, and it's like, I'm not gonna. I can't.
High grade and headlamps.
yeah.
So I was just looking. I was looking at the price of an Amazing Fantasy 15 in 2004, a 5.0 was $5,000.
Yeah.
So it's just imagine buying that book back then. And people going like, "Are you a moron?" And then now you just have that book. It's just like, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
All right, stop making me sick. All right. I think we probably we're at about close to hour and a half now into the show, and I have to call my daughter because I'm sorry, I gotta cut this a little short today due to fact that my daughter's graduating in May and she's in Hawaii, so she wants me to call her so she wants to coordinate this, but she knows that I'm doing a live show, so she's kind of waiting. So
that's cool.
And right now I'm having this really bad side effect from the ramen I had earlier for today for lunch, so my whole face is been puffing up and my eyes are just not in the right place today, so I do apologize, guys. CBA, I hope you can join us again in 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, great. Hazel Dan, always love you guys. Batman #1. That's a really freaking pretty cool. I wish I had that as well. And, Martian, thanks for joining in. I know, shit. It's probably the next time you'll be here. Probably gonna be next year, same time, but hopefully not. I'd love to have your input on your thoughts on this collection and thing. And thanks for coming on. And Alex, as always, thanks to you. Mahalo.
Cool.
And everyone who's in the chat and all the 8 people who are watching, thank you very much. I do apologize for cutting this short, but like I said, I'm not feeling well right now, and I gotta talk to my daughters about her graduation. So see you guys all in 2 weeks.
All right. See you later.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Later.
Later.